You can hear him loudly call. It's a curtain ring on a finger, and it veils the gypsy shawl. And what a fine bunch of wayside weeds, fresh picked from down the lane. And a wedding cup of cider sets us on the road again.
I'll never back down. I'll never back down. I'll never back down. I get up when I'm bleeding, barely breathing. I'll never back down.
This is the collision of common sense and comedy. This is Defenders Live.
I'll never back down. Thought I was 6 feet under.
Happy Monday.
Yes.
Would you pause?
Sure.
Why did you pause? Because you weren't sure it was Monday? or-
Well, I was just happy. I don't know.
well, I mean, you have to find silver linings somewhere.
okay.
So,
Sure. Happy Monday.
you have to.
We're gonna do that.
you know, they always say you speak stupid things into existence,
Well, yes.
and I don't believe in it. But hey,
well,
I'm just saying, you don't. I'm just saying.
yeah.
Anyway,
Right.
happy Monday, y'all.
Happy Monday.
Hope everyone's having a good one so far. And if you're not, look at the upside to it. Monday is officially over.
Basically after the show.
Well, but no, I mean, but
Generally speaking, for everybody
I
else.
have
yeah.
this argument with, like with the girlfriend all the time.
Monday is a work day, and once you're done with work,
Once you're done with work, it's over.
right? But what about those people that don't start work until now?
Oh, then I am so sorry for you.
Their
my,
Monday just started.
my heart goes out to you. I am truly sorry. That's all I got. For
That's
you.
it. That's
That's
it.
all I got.
That's all you got. It's
I feel bad for you, and that's it.
he loves you and he feels bad
Yeah, that's as far as it
for you.
for you.
Yeah.
Everybody else, every normal person out there, no, I don't.
I do 9 to 5s. I mean,
It's-
come on.
Yeah, the day's over. Your work day is done.
Right. Everybody's working for the weekend.
Yes. You're home now. That's half the battle. Just relax a little bit. Put up with us for an hour and then go on. So there you go.
Unless you're a defender.
Yeah, and then
You can put up with us for 2 hours.
2 hours.
That's right.
It's anyway.
Yes.
So I found this article that I found a little bit interesting.
You did find
Did
it.
you read this at all?
I did know. No, I didn't. No, I was going to, and I said, well, I'm sitting here because I did training today.
Yeah, you did.
I did 8.5 hours of just virtual training today.
Which was so much fun.
Yeah,
Isn't
and
it, though?
Yeah, well, it was live virtual training with an instructor
Oh, good.
for 8 hours.
Oh, good.
So I saw this article that you sent me.
And you would much rather have read it.
I probably should have read. I would have had more entertainment reading that.
Oh, yes, you would have.
But I said, nay. This needs to have reaction on the show.
It does, and it's going to be fun. President Joe Biden's Supreme Court commission ended with more whimper than bang. Now, bear in mind, this is from Politico, and it's an opinion piece, so
Yeah, this is an opinion piece
buckle up,
from
just so you know. Created in response to continued criticisms of the court's conservative decisions and President Donald Trump's 3 appointments, this group of 34 of our country's brightest legal minds considered proposals to fundamentally alter the third branch of our government. Excuse me. That's how bad it is. It chokes me up every time.
Every time.
For months, they heard testimony and circulated drafts on adding justices to the court, 18-year term limits for justices, stripping the court of jurisdiction to hear certain types of cases, requiring supermajority of justices to overturn acts of Congress.
Sure.
Any of which could dramatically change our constitutional order.
Right.
And yet,
Uh-huh.
their final report was met with a collective yawn by all but the most ardent court followers.
You want to know why?
Oh, they'll tell you why. Because the very next sentence is, and why is that?
Oh, they're going to tell us.
They're going to tell you.
Oh.
The commission took a more descriptive rather than prescriptive approach, noting that the, quote, profound disagreement among commissioners on these issues, end quote. But it wasn't that their conclusions were boring.
Uh-huh.
It's that they were useless. Nobody who's paying attention thinks any of it will happen. Aside from adding justices, even then there was notable disagreement among the commissioners. All of these changes would require a constitutional amendment, and amending the Constitution has become virtually impossible.
Why?
It's so good.
Why?
Our founders designed the Constitution so that amending it would be hard, but
Yes.
not impossible.
Right.
In fact, they ratified the document with many of the amendments that would become the Bill of Rights already in mind.
Right, yeah.
George Washington dedicated a good chunk of his first inaugural address to the subject of the amendments. And of course, Thomas Jefferson would later tout the necessity of changes to the Constitution by successive generations.
Yes, okay.
Quote, we might as well require a man to wear still the coat which is fitted him when as a boy, as civilized society to remain ever under the regime of the barbarous ancestors, end
So
quote.
what, hold on. Thomas Jefferson wasn't talking about the Constitution when referring to
I know he wasn't.
when referring to the coat of a boy
I know.
and barbarous ancestors. He wasn't talking about that.
No, he literally was talking about the Barbary pirates and the whole...
And no. In this case, he was talking about Britain and the king, and talking about shedding.
No, I thought he was talking
No.
about...
He's shedding this.
Tripoli and all
Shedding the what kept them as children under the king.
Oh, I thought it was referring... Okay, my bad.
Yeah,
I was thinking
he
Tripoli.
He was talking about literally shedding that cloak of childhood that was, you were
Under a monarchy?
weaned under a monarchy.
Yeah, and now you don't have to be.
And we got rid of it and became our own people.
Yeah.
That's what he's talking about here.
We growed up.
We growed up, and when we growed up, we came up with some stuffs
Yeah.
and things.
And things and stuff. Continuing on, it gets so much better. But today, thanks in large part to growing negative partisanship and shrinking congressional interest in doing anything, the amendment process has been relegated to the dust heap, while our nation's problems, from climate change to an outdated immigration system, pile up without political accountability. The resulting constitutional stagnation is a threat to the republic, one that should scare you, even if you think the Supreme Court has gotten every decision right. And then, by the way, according to this guy, it hasn't.
Well, it hasn't, because it kept changing its mind.
Yeah.
That's why you have some. That's why you have judicial precedent.
I know.
Because precedent means like, okay, here's all the past cases that we've said this. And we've had many times now to where we've had 100 and some odd years of precedent. And then a case comes around like Roe v. Wade. And
Just off the dome.
yeah,
Just off the dome.
throwing that out there. And it literally throws out everything from the past
Yeah.
and says, no, that's not how it's supposed to be, because this one thing taken out of context right here and this one thing taken out of context right here, if we talk about only those two things taken out of context, it means absolutely different things than what the whole of the conversations that were being had meant to be.
Yeah.
And so because of that,
Yep.
because of multiple things taken out of context, I can distinctly say that our founding fathers meant it this way instead.
Yeah, but now you're talking about trying to read into intent, past intent, and you can't necessarily do that.
Well, it's funny you say that.
I know.
It's funny you say
I know.
because
It's almost like we've done this before.
there's a thing.
There is a thing.
There's a thing, and they did it a lot back in their day. It's called writing. It's hold on. Specifically journaling
I know.
and writing letters.
I know.
Also, depositions, real ones.
Not like this crap you're hearing nowadays. Like
Not
real.
legalese bullcrap. Actual depositions where people talk to each other and communicated back and forth via legal documents.
Using reason, not legalese.
Right.
It's great.
There was this thing there. And with those things, okay, with those things, we can go back and almost verbatim in their own words. I say almost because sometimes you do have to read a little bit, but almost verbatim in their own words, we can go back to any situation that has ever happened in our constitutional agreements
Yeah.
and amendments and say, okay, this one. Well, what really happened behind the scenes? Well, you have this letter from this guy, this letter from this guy, this letter from this guy, this letter from this guy. Oh, this journal that has 15 pages of discussion. Oh, by the way, they also wrote down all the discussion that happened at when they were doing the Constitution, everything. It's there, and we have those.
We do.
And yet, we allow people to take things out of context for no reason.
Well, and the funny part about it going back to the whole, people are losing interest in, congressional interest in doing anything. The amendment process has been regulated, blah, blah.
No, sorry. Let me step in for just another second here. The government was put into place to be at a standstill.
It was.
Unless it was absolutely necessary for the people to survive. It should not be anything happening.
You're right.
In the government. The government literally should be the least active part of our lives.
And yet, they're the most active in our lives.
Right.
By far.
By far.
By far.
Talk about a nanny state.
And with that, we're going to tell everybody goodbye on the Facebooks.
Oh, yeah. Sorry about that.
If you want more, if you want to hear and listen to the rest of this continuing article and the fun that's going to happen and ensue,
Join
go
us.
to rumble.com. Find us at Defenders Live over there. The show continues there.
Yep.
Or if you are a Defender, you can be watching us on our website as well and watch the entire show from beginning to end. And that includes the extra hour at the end at doaeshow.com.
That's if you're a Defender with us.
It is.
It's $5 a month or $50 a year. You also get a shirt with it, and we give you a whole extra hour of show.
Plus other things we got planned down in the works. But otherwise, Facebook and
Bye.
everybody else, we see y'all tomorrow. Bye.
Bye. All right.
Alrighty.
Now that they're
here's-
gone.
Here's where it gets more fun.
Yes.
Are you ready?
Uh-huh.
Continuing on. We need to amend the amending.
Sorry, what?
Article 5 of the Constitution explains how to amend our shared governing contract. In short, 38 state legislatures have to ratify an amendment after it is proposed, either by 67 senators and 288 House members or 34 states.
Yes.
Of course, our population isn't evenly divided across the states. The smallest 12 states comprise of roughly 14 million people.
Yes.
And in a country of 330 million people, that means that, in theory, 96% of us could have to agree to change the Constitution. That is, if all the least populous states don't vote in favor of an amendment. Yes, Stephen.
Okay. So there's, you know, our founding fathers were pretty smart about this.
Were they now?
They were.
I don't know. I never met them.
Well, I've read a lot what they said, and
I've done that too. But.
you know, one of the things that everybody was all concerned about was the fact that, you know, oh, well, what about the states with less population versus more population? What about all that? That's why we have two bodies in the legislature.
House and Senate, you mean?
Yeah, that's why we have the House of Representatives. See, our House of Representatives, those are the people that represent the people, right? So that's the populace. So as the population grows, so does the House of Representatives. It grows in kind.
Mm-hmm.
You know, that's one of the reasons why we need to take a census, other than taxes, is also for the House of Representatives to keep its numbers proper. Okay, because you got to keep a population run. And then you have the Senate.
Yep.
And the Senate represents the state.
Yes, it does.
Only the
Yes.
state, not the people of the state, but the state. So it's supposed to represent what the state itself wants, what the state government wants. So technically, it's like having two additional governors,
Yeah. Yeah.
or how it should be.
Yeah.
It's basically like having two additional governors sitting at the U.S. Capitol, going over all the information and saying, oh, no, our state doesn't want that. Or yes, our state does want that.
Yeah.
Back and forth, back and forth. We don't have that anymore, though.
No.
No, because who's supposed to vote for the Senate?
Supposed to vote for the Senate?
Yeah, who's supposed to vote for the Senate?
That would be the people.
No, the Senate.
Oh, the Senate.
The Senate.
Oh.
Who's supposed to vote for the Senate?
Isn't that
Who was originally supposed to vote for the Senate? They changed it
it was
about...
Congress, wasn't it? No.
It was the state.
That's what I meant. That's
Yeah,
what I
yeah.
meant by the people.
It
the
was our
state.
state legislature.
Yes, that's what I meant
you're
by
right,
the
You're right.
people.
Okay, so the state legislature used to vote for the Senate. Okay, we changed that, and we changed that because somebody convinced us that there were too many good old boys in the Senate.
Yeah.
The good old boys club, where basically they were just voting in their family and friends into the Senate instead of actually voting in people that are going to represent the state.
Yeah.
Which, in essence, if we keep voting in those people as our representatives in state, we get what we deserve at that point.
Yeah, but they were also talking about, you know, from the angle of, you know, because they're getting the good
Literal
old boys in
nepotism
there
at this point.
Yeah, because they were getting more and more powerful, which means when people did try to stand up, they would stop it and they would shut it
Right,
down.
they would
like,
crush those people.
like
Yeah.
Athens or the was it the Battle of Athens and stuff?
Yeah.
It was that very same thing.
So, literally, the reason why we have a system that we have now is because people corrupted the original intent of the system. But people corrupted the original intent of the system because we, as the people, stopped paying as close attention to the local elections.
yeah, it's almost like we've. It's no longer important to worry about what goes on around you. What actually touches you the most? No. Let's vote and worry about the one that
The
feels,
national thing.
Yeah, because it feels more like American Idol. Because that's what people have been voting on for the past 10 years, 15 years, 16 years, however long that damn show's been on.
Right, but also, you know...
But that's how they look at it. It's
Yeah.
no longer, like I said, it's no longer the what goes on locally. Because locally, that's where it touches you first. You just may not notice it. You may not pay attention to it because you don't want to see it.
Right.
But that's what affects you locally.
Yes.
Is this local stuff hits you first. Then it's goes out to the presidency and nationally and blah, blah, blah. Because in the grand scheme of it all, who cares what happens overall in, say, Nebraska? We're not
I'm
in
not
Nebraska.
in Nebraska. I
So
shouldn't care.
I don't give a flying fig about Nebraska.
I shouldn't have to care what happens in California.
Yeah. I don't.
But it affects us.
To a point, yeah. Because
It affects what we do and who we are because of how we're so interconnected with our federal government.
because that has ballooned beyond.
Right. And it also affects education because our education system is tied to whatever California or Texas says.
And I love how they're complaining about, well, the smallest states basically are able to run ramshot and this, that, and the third.
No, they're not.
Like it was meant to give even the small states voices. That was the point.
Yeah, right. That was the exact point.
Continuing on, it is not an easy process. Over the nearly 11,000 constitutional amendments that have been proposed over the past 233 years, only 27 have made it through.
Thank God.
But it has also become increasingly difficult of late. In today's dysfunctional Congress, garnering 2/3 support for anything is a laughable notion.
Good.
Over half of the Constitution's amendments were made in the first third of our country's existence.
Good.
The first 10, the Bill of Rights, happened almost immediately.
Yes.
The next two, protecting the states from lawsuits and electing the president and vice president as a ticket, were ratified within a few years.
Second one was stupid.
That was kind of dumb. The three civil rights amendments were made following the Civil War, and ratification by the rebelling states was required for re-entry into the Union.
Right.
The other 12 were all ratified in the 20th century. The most recent amendment, the 27th, which prevents congressional pay raise from going into effect until after the next congressional election.
Which means if you don't know if you're going to stay, then why are you going to vote for it?
Yeah, was actually proposed with the Bill of Rights and took an impressive 202-year ratification period to finally get enough state votes to become part of the Constitution in 1992.
I didn't even remember that.
No, I didn't either. It's become harder to amend Constitution, even as it has become even more hard or more important that we amend it.
Why?
Nobody thinks the guys drafting the Constitution in 1787 were clairvoyant about the problems we would face in 2022. They didn't think so either. One of the reasons the founders scrapped the Articles of Confederation in favor of the Constitution was because the Articles of Confederation proved too difficult to amend. Yes, Stephen.
No, that is not the reason why. You are incorrect, Politico.
Whoever is writing this is a moron.
Actually. Okay, so hold
I
on.
almost feel like you have to do it in that voice now. Actually.
No. So Articles of Confederation, I wasn't even going to go there, but you went there. So Articles of Confederation, the reason why we got rid of it was because it was too centralized. We didn't allow for the states to have their own rights.
Okay. Technically, whoever wrote this is technically right then. It was too hard to amend. Why? Because everything was too centralized. There was no...
No, it would have been
checks and
easier
balances
to amend because there weren't going to be any checks and balances to the federal government.
But they're expecting the amending to actually make a difference. And
Right.
if it's too centralized, you could amend until you're blue in the face. It ain't going to change nothing.
Well, yeah, duh.
But that's
Exactly. That's one of the reasons. Because you
what they
have
meant.
everything in one spot. It was basically creating another monarchy. And they said, no, we can't do that. That's stupid. We just got out of one.
Yeah, which I think is what he meant by it proved too difficult to amend. Because basically,
No.
once
it's
you
not.
have a monarchy in place, you can't amend a constitution because a monarchy doesn't give a flying fig about
Well,
the
they
Constitution.
can change the Constitution as much as they want.
Yeah, they can.
Right.
You can't.
Right. Well,
people
somebody,
can't.
he wants somebody to change it.
He wants an administrator.
Yeah. He wants administrator.
No. Continuing. This is so good, and we still have so much to get.
I know. And we're almost out of
As
time.
we get further from the drafting of the Constitution, the more changes should presumably be needed to keep the document up to date as technology changes, social mores shift, and hopefully the United States learns a few things about governing along the way. But the founders also likely didn't foresee that Congress would willingly give up so much of its power to the judicial and executive branches, making amending the Constitution the only way to address the country's biggest stagnating problems, from gerrymandering to speech codes. Speech codes. Yes, Stephen.
Can I? Actually, yes, they did. That's why we have a states amending process. That's why we have the ability, as states, if we so desire, to come together and write a law that forces Congress to do something. We have that ability. That was actually one of the reasons why the Founding Fathers put that into the Constitution, to make sure it was there.
You mean the Convention of States?
Yeah, in the Convention of States. Yeah. That Convention of States happens to be the way we as people can come together.
Right now, over me.
Yes. And change what we hate about the ever-changing landscape of our federal government. You see, what he's talking about is the fact that there's all of these changes that are happening and nobody's standing up.
Or stuff that needs to be changed and nobody's doing it.
No. He's talking about stuff that has been changed.
Gerrymandering and speech codes. They want to get rid of that kind of stuff. But they also want to get rid of, handle climate change. They want an amendment for climate change.
But he's also talking about how they're handing their government powers to the judicial and executive branches. That has to be changed. That does have to be changed.
Yep.
And we have the power to do that.
You know how you get that? It's
Convention of States.
Well, there's that. There's paying attention and doing your due diligence and
electing the right people into
at the
office.
local level.
As local as possible.
Be the change that you want to see in the world.
I'm looking at the man in the mirror.
This is Defenders Live.
Oh, Barbara D over there is
You are not alone.
Oh, I was gonna go. She sat there and says it. It's fun here just talking to myself, and I think the lyric is it's fun just here dancing by
With
myself. Yeah, there you go.
Dancing with myself.
I'm dancing with myself. It's such a stupid song. Oh, the poor guy.
Living flickering over all
Poor
the Twitters. Are you saying that the founding fathers used to write their things down, their ideas down in long form?
Yeah,
No,
really weird.
that
right?
must have been hard to do. 280 characters at a time.
Yeah,
It
yeah,
was.
Yeah,
It was.
It's, yeah,
Yeah.
it's a doozy.
Amazing how that happened. They are magicians.
But hey, I mean, I'm just saying they had a little bit more time on their hands. That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying. Because they didn't have things like we have.
Mm-hmm.
They didn't have to watch and
Dude.
TV or have stupid stuff going on.
Being on the TikToks all the time.
Yeah, they just kind of lived their life, and I could say I'm truly envious of them.
Without the internet and that's the thing. Like they would come here and they'd be like, "Wow, you guys got it all, don't you?"
Yeah, right.
Like think about it. If our founding fathers walked into the poorest person's house, they would find a fridge.
I know.
They would find a television.
Mm-hmm.
They would find an oven that doesn't burn you.
Cell phone.
Cell phones in everybody's hand.
Mm-hmm.
Like at least one computer.
Yeah. All kinds of stuff.
All kinds of little washer machines.
Yep.
Probably a dishwasher as well.
Central air.
Central air.
Uh-huh.
The greatest sin of mankind. But still, wonderful, isn't it? Yeah. So I mean,
Oh no.
what?
I'm reading tech.
Gin and tonic?
No, not that. He sent his resume off to a vendor. He's been escorting.
That thinks I'm extremely cool. I hope it's not.
I can think of like 3 of them that I don't want them to be.
I hope it's not
I hope it's not any of those 3.
any of them.
And-
And if it is, hopefully you have a really good team up there. Because sometimes it depends on the team in the local.
No, it does that too.
It really does.
My only thing I was going to throw out there, though, is the problem with being a vendor is you don't.
You have no control.
Yeah, you have zero control.
But he's also a vendor.
No, I thought he was. Oh, I thought he was actually part of.
Mm-mm.
Oh, then never. No, he is, because how's he escorting him?
Because of his clearance.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
I thought he was straight up.
No, he has clearance, bro.
Oh, I know that, but I thought he was
No.
straight up. No, I know what I knew. But I'm saying I thought he
Was.
and he's
No.
oh, okay.
Mm-mm.
Because that was not making sense to me. I'm like, wait a second, you're going to
No.
step down? What the hell?
No, step sideways.
No. Gotcha.
It's just a
It's
step
a
to the
lateral. I gotcha.
It's just a step to the left.
Yeah, I gotcha. I was reading it as backwards.
Yeah.
Okay, well,
Yeah.
good luck to you there, buddy. Hopefully that
Hope that
eventually
works out.
moves you forward. Because
Or better. Just better.
well, that's what I mean by
In
forward.
any way.
That's what I mean by forward.
Yeah.
It's better.
Mhm.
Because none of the vendors for our side will even talk to us. So, well, they'll talk to you because you're there.
Yeah.
So
I know.
there you go.
There we are.
So this article is so much fun that we've decided to stretch it out
Yeah, we're gonna keep
into
going.
the next hour.
Yeah,
half hour.
into this next side here.
So, I conveniently enough, Adam W. Johnson over on Twitter. I missed the first 30 minutes, so pretend I said a couple of clever and witty things during the time, and let's move on.
Good. Let's keep going
The
then.
best part is you're right in the meat of it, so you may catch on, you might not.
Probably will.
Continuing with this wonderful article from Politico.
let's go right ahead.
As Congress has done less and less legislating, the executive branch and a sprawling number of administrative agencies in it, that's a problem in and of itself, by the way. Yeah. You're having administrative agencies who do not answer to anyone.
Or yeah, they're not.
And
They're
yet
not
they have the power and the authority and the ability
Just like the legislative branch.
to act in their ways. It's pretty
They
fascinating.
can make law and also push it.
Yeah, and there isn't anything you could do.
Thank you, Stealth Jack.
What? Oh yeah, jump to the left, step to.
Put your hands on your hips. Yeah, anyway.
Anyway,
It's the pelvic thrust. And it drives you insane.
yes, that song drives me insane. Anyway,
Time warp.
damn it, now I'm gonna have to play it at some point. I'm gonna have to look for it here in a minute.
Thank you. I'm glad you caught that.
Anyway,
I'm so glad you.
sprawling number of administrative agencies in it have faced increasing political pressure to address the problems facing the country.
That's a problem because they're not allowed to.
But they are.
But they shouldn't be.
But they are.
But they shouldn't be.
But they.
But that's not their job.
But everyone themselves included thinks it is.
it's not.
But they think it is. But the Constitution doesn't allow the executive branch to fill in as a substitute legislature,
Well, yeah, we know that.
which is a large reason why so many executive orders and actions end up in federal court.
Right, because they're legislating from the executive branch.
Which, as a single guy, the legislative office tends then to become the king monarch as we've tried to run from 233 years ago.
Right. It also becomes communism at that point.
Yeah, that's well, yeah. That leaves the courts in an untenable position. Strike down the executive action, knowing that there is little to no chance Congress will step in to address the issue at hand, or allow the executive branch to continue to encroach on congressional authority, which further erodes any congressional will to tackle politically contentious issues. All right, we're making this one paragraph at a time. Yes, Stephen, go ahead.
It's not your fault,
We'll
but it
get
is.
there. We'll get
It's
there.
not your fault, but
But
it is your
my
fault.
No, it's absolutely my fault.
All right. Okay. So,
Because they just stated what the problem was.
yeah.
And
okay.
Barbara over there caught it. Congress is the problem.
Yes, Congress is allowing people to take their power. Now, here's what I'm going to say about this.
Because all they're after is the money. Just to cut you off.
Yeah.
We are electing people who we don't know anything about, who are going in there and are running ramshot, who are making deals and sidestepping everything, who don't give a flying fig about any of us,
Yes.
which is what their job is supposed to be. And they're going to go in, they're going to make connections, they're going to make deals to suit them, they're going to get their golden parachute, and then they're out. And they don't care. And that's the problem. And we all stand here and go, oh, well, that's not right. But we don't take the next step to either remove them or ensure that they don't come back or people like them come back. We just turn around and go, oh, well, let's get someone else.
And then you never do a thing.
And you
about
don't do anything about it. You don't do your homework. You don't pet check up on them. You don't push through to find out who they really are.
it. And then when they do vote against what you want, or they don't push back when
Yes.
the rest of the government takes their
Yes.
power, you don't say anything. Anyway, so go back to this real quick. It says that leaves the court in the untenable position to strike down the executive action, knowing that there's little chance that Congress is going to stop it, or allow the executive branch to keep encroaching on congressional authority. Now,
Yeah.
what is the Supreme Court's job?
Yeah.
What is their job?
What is whose job? I'm sorry.
Supreme Court. What is their job?
The Supreme Court is to rule on the constitutionality of whether it's, something coming down from the legislative or Congress or what have you.
Or
It's
the president or the
whatever
executive
the
branch.
situation is, it's supposed to rule on the constitutionality of something.
Right. So is that an untenable position?
No. Pretty freaking
Literally,
simple,
their
actually.
exact job
Yeah.
is to do this.
Yeah.
Their exact job is to say, I'm sorry, executive branch, that's not your job. That's Congress. You're going to have to talk to them first.
Yeah. You can't do anything.
That is unconstitutional.
Which is always
Sorry.
funny. Which is funny because they still turn around and go, well, we need to just stack the courts then. Well, again, if every bit of the government was running as it was supposed to, everything from the legislative all the way down to the judicial,
Right. Then you'd only have 3 judges.
Well, it doesn't matter how many judges you would have.
Right, but
In
I'm
all honesty, because if everybody was doing their job that they're supposed to do in their respective branches of government,
You could have 251 judges. It wouldn't matter.
Yeah, we wouldn't be having problems. You would have the occasional, hey, we're going to write something and it'll go down. But then you could have 300 judges on the court and they'd be like, oh, yeah, all of them would go, no, it's not constitutional.
Literally not constitutional.
It has nothing to do.
Based on the word of the Constitution,
Yes.
it is not constitutional. I'm sorry.
Yeah, the Constitution, the Supreme Court judges are not supposed to be politically biased. And yet you hear them every time. Oh, well, I wonder if, the Republican guy is going to turn around and get Republicans in there. Or if
He's
gonna
not supposed to be a Republican.
It has nothing to do with that.
That's it. The Supreme Court justice literally should be hired on this one premise. Do you know the Constitution of the United States?
Yes.
Of the United States, and will you fervently uphold the Constitution of the United States against every case that is brought to you?
Yeah,
Yes or no?
it's that simple.
That is all we need to know.
Yeah, everything else just kind of...
I don't need to know about your opinions about anything. I don't need nothing. And in fact,
Because you're a judge. You're supposed to be executing literal justice.
impartial justice.
Justice is blind. It's supposed to be.
Right.
Which means it doesn't matter if you're a Republican or a Democrat. If somebody walks in here and says, X, Y, and Z, then you should be able to go,
Case
yes or
law,
no.
case law, case law, case law.
Yep.
That's why no.
Yeah. Plus Constitution equals go home.
Go home, try again later. Next time, talk to them first.
Yeah.
You know,
Talk to them first. Figure something else out. Word it differently. Something.
it's like okay, it's like the court. Technically, this is a bad analogy.
I know.
It's a bad analogy. The court is divorce therapy.
I haven't thought of that, but you know what? Having been through it, yes.
It's divorce
Yes.
therapy. I'm not talking about marital therapy. I mean divorce therapy.
You mean like the mediator?
Kind of, but also the shrink. Like, you need to understand the reason why you
Oh,
can't
yeah.
do what you did.
Yeah. Can't just say no, it's here's why.
Yeah. No, and here's why.
And then pat us on the butt.
No,
when
and
we walk
here's
out the door
why.
and
Now go your separate ways.
Pat us on the butt and say we've made progress today and charge us $700.
I'll see
for an
you
hour.
in 4 months. You know,
That was a really good hour. I've seen we made some really good progress.
I'll see you in 4 months. Don't talk to each other between those times.
Oh, continuing on. Immigration is a perfect example.
Is it really?
The last major legislative change to our immigration system
That was
the-
necessary.
was the Immigration Reform and Control Act of 1986.
Yes.
Millions of people came to the United States unlawfully in the decades that followed. Politically, neither side benefited from fixing the problem because it became such a salient campaign issue.
Whoa, hold on. Hold on. Mm-hmm. Speaking of campaign issues, it was actually Democrats that brought up the issue in 80s and early 90s about immigrants and about how illegal aliens were going to take all of our jobs.
Which is ironic considering the fact that the whole time they've been beating the door down to get them here.
Yeah. It was the left constantly pushing the idea in the media from the late 80s, early 90s that some guy from Mexico is going to take your job
Yeah.
and they're going to illegally come across the border and they're going to take over our government and they're going to do this and do that and do this and do that. So why did that change?
Oh, again, because we quit holding our representatives and congressmen accountable.
Oh,
That's the truth of it. See, again, this whole article in a nutshell is they're like, we should amend the Constitution on how we should be able to amend the Constitution.
or we should just change our politicians just like you changed
That's what I'm
diapers.
getting ready to say. You're trying to fix something that's not actually broke to fix something else. The problem is not the Constitution. The Constitution is fine.
Yes.
The problem is the people.
Yeah.
That's the truth of it.
Mm-hmm.
And whether that stings, steps on your toes, or doesn't, I don't care. That's the fact of the matter. We don't do a near enough homework and evaluation and checks on the people we get. And not to say that there's some of us who do.
So,
And we still may make a wrong decision.
yes.
There's a lot of people. A perfect example is the governor down in Georgia, Kemp. When he first came on the scene, everybody and their mother thought he was going to be the greatest thing since sliced bread.
Sure.
And they're dropping him like a lead balloon because he showed his colors. But a lot of people I know for a fact did study. They did look into him and they did evaluate it. And not everybody, but those who did, you know what I mean? There's certain things that just slip by.
Yes.
You don't catch it all, and it's fine.
It's difficult to catch those things, but that's why you have elections every couple of years.
And I was going to say, but that's why a lot of those very same people are, again, dropping him and moving on to another person because they've realized, oh, he is not the person. We need somebody else. It's our responsibility to take back our voice from wherever the hell we lost it. And it's
Where you left it.
It's amongst all the other branches of the government. We've left it up to them
to do whatever they want
and
so that we don't have to think about it.
Yep. And all they want is to make sure that they are secure. They don't care about you.
They just care about their job
They care about them.
and their family.
And that's it.
That's it.
They want to make their fortune and they out like a fat kid in dodgeball.
Yep. All off of your back.
Uh-huh. Yep. Oblivion flickering. We Americans are simply accustomed to having people do the dirty work for us. I can't remember the last time I milked a cow or chopped it into steaks and cooked them with the butter that I churned. And that's exactly it. We went there. The upside to convenience in life is there's convenience.
Right.
The downside to convenience is it makes you lazy. It makes you complacent.
Mm-hmm.
You get accustomed, like Oblivion said.
I am terribly accustomed to being lazy.
I am too. God help us if something like a Walking Dead situation actually happened. Because aside from the concept, I am too. But I'm saying forget they'll have to dealing with the zombies part.
Oh yeah.
When you have to go back to square one, when it becomes on you to raise your crop, you want bread, you better grow wheat. You want butter, you better milk a cow and churn that cream. You're going to do all this stuff. You have to be able to do it yourself. Not even me, who I'm not ready for that. I could do it.
I could.
I promise you, that first year is going to suck.
Oh yeah.
Because there's no way in hell that I'm going to be right.
But there's also going to be so many people that you would lose.
Oh yeah.
Due to, medicines not being available and things like that. It's going to be hell. If something like that were to happen.
I agree,
but
but
it would be a living hell.
But I mean, forgetting all that, even that part too, like that, because that's, forget
that was
them
normal.
and the zombies.
For our for our founding fathers, that was normal.
Yeah. You had to be accountable for yourself.
What we would consider living hells now
was normal.
Was their normal everyday life.
That's why I never understand what utopia. Like everybody talks about, especially on the left, wants utopia. If you really think about what utopia
what we're living is utopia, or the closest thing that a human can get.
Yeah, I was gonna say, because to have true utopia makes us the most vulnerable being in existence.
Yes,
that means anything and everything will be able to get us because we're weak. We won't be prepared.
As humans, we are much weaker.
Yeah.
Of a populace than our founding fathers, than our forefathers. Anyway, continue on.
Yep. Politically, neither side benefited from fixing the problem because it was such a salient campaign issue. So Congress did nothing. Legislators didn't fix the system.
Mm-hmm.
For legal immigration, they didn't address what to do with the people that were already here.
Yep.
After efforts in both houses of Congress repeatedly stalled, in 2009, Barack Obama created the Deferred Action Child Arrivals, DACA.
Which was a bad idea.
And then DAPA,
which was the worst idea.
For the parents.
Yeah.
Which allowed some people who had been brought here into the country illegally as minors and as parents of children that are American citizens in the country unlawfully to apply for work authorization.
Yeah.
Republican states immediately sued, arguing that the president had exceeded his constitutional authority to, quote, take care that the laws be faithfully executed.
Right. That's not his job.
And it was instead making those new laws. Mm-hmm. More than a decade later, the federal courts have struck down DAPA and seems poised to do the same for DACA.
They already have, basically.
Congress, watching all of this play out, has still done nothing.
That's because it's political.
Again, but you're complaining about Congress.
Congress and Congress and Congress. You're not complaining about the rest of the government. The executive branch is doing more because they want to do more, because everybody that we put into office, minus very few,
Yeah.
want to run the world.
Yeah.
Or they have somebody around them that wants to run the world.
Yeah.
Or in Joe Biden's case, he's a puppet.
Yeah. But the thing that this guy or girl or whoever wrote this is missing. Literally the forest through the trees. You know, you're complaining about Congress not doing anything. We need to change the
whole Constitution.
The Constitution and the amending process of the Constitution. Here's the thing. Even you're admitting that it's incredibly hard to change the Constitution and amend the Constitution. Do you know what's so much easier? To redo Congress.
I got it.
Convention of States is even easier.
Yeah. All of it's easier.
All of those are so much easier. I mean, my brain says I would much rather attempt to change Congress from the inside out. Because yes, okay, so you do a Constitution or a Convention of States.
Sure.
Which would be fantastic and it would get a lot of great things handled. However,
Right.
once the convention's over with, you're right back to square one. You still have corrupt, horrible Congress people.
You still have people
Yeah, you
in
still
office.
have bad apples in Congress.
Right. It's still going to happen no matter what.
So the only way that a Convention of States works is if you completely wipe out Congress and you start fresh.
And even then, you don't necessarily know what you're getting.
Yeah, it's about being diligent. It's not a one-time fix. It's something that we as adults and as Americans have to do diligently from the day that we turn 18 and have the right to vote until the day we die.
It's the idea that you're supposed to be an informed populace. It has nothing to... actually, you know what? The writers they're obviously looking at this all wrong. Okay? Because they're complaining about Congress and the Senate. Right? That's what the legislative body. You're complaining about the one thing that the people have the most vote in. That's what you're complaining about? And you're saying that instead of the people taking action, you want the people to take action against our own Constitution, which is the one thing protecting us?
Yeah, the one thing keeping everything above water.
Yeah. Literally the only thing keeping everything above water at this point is the paper.
Yeah. 233-year-old document. Continuing real fast, it gets so much better. That brings us to Biden's Supreme Court Commission. If you believe the problem with the Supreme Court is its conservative opinions on abortion, partisan gerrymandering, the Voting Rights Act, campaign finance, or, well, literally anything else, then instituting 18-year terms or guaranteeing every president 2 SCOTUS picks per term still isn't the answer. That is absolutely right.
That's correct. It is not the answer.
The Supreme Court is inherently counter-majoritarian, conservative with a small c institution that sets a constitutional floor for rights, not the ceiling.
Yes, that's correct.
Only Congress or an amendment process that reflects the will of the electorate can truly address these issues. If conservatives truly believe what they say, that the administrative state has become bloated beyond recognition and regularly encroaches on the liberties of normal Americans, then allowing for an easier amendment process is a way to starve the beast. Administrative agencies currently rely on the very practical argument that if they don't address an issue in national importance, no one else will. Yeah, you got. You feel like you got something you want to say there.
It's mulling around in there. Just wanted to. Okay, so hold on. Yeah, correct placement. Stupid assumption.
I know. It's like 1 + 2 + 3
equals 2056.
Exactly.
It's not.
It's
nowhere close.
No.
No.
Because you know what this is? Do you know what this is? This is You're on the battlefield. You have got a hole in your leg and it's severed an artery.
Yes.
You also have a splinter. The medic comes by and he starts
Plucks the splinter,
worries
walks
about
away.
the splinter. That's what this guy's doing.
And walks away.
Yeah.
No,
we're
I'm
not
sorry.
talking about starving the beast. If here's the thing that this person is not even remotely considered. Let's say for a moment that, and I don't know how you would, but let's say you make the amendment process so much easier to ratify.
Easier for us to do.
Then guess what's going to happen
Everything's going to be an amendment.
all the time?
Everything will be an amendment.
Everything.
Everything.
You know, like gun laws, 250,000
Everything will be an amendment.
would be all amended.
Every single one.
And they all overlap. They're all the exact same damn thing, just the wording is a little bit different.
Freedom of speech will be amended properly this time.
Oh, yeah, because now we can worry about,
It's like,
speech codes, as I mentioned earlier.
yeah, it's like, let's get rid of the filibuster.
Yep.
Let's get rid of the filibuster. Why? Why you got to get rid of the filibuster? Because we can't get anything done. Good.
Yeah.
Good. What you don't understand, person who's writing this, still, and this is a very long article, and we took it even longer.
I know.
Because of the back and forth. But what you still do not understand is that our Congress was set up to not move.
Yep.
Our Congress was set up to stay at a standstill unless there was something so very important for the sanctity of life itself that we have to move.
Yeah.
That was it. That was the only time ever that our government was supposed to make law or consider making new rules and regulations. And the fact that the executive branch has taken it upon themselves to create new little sections of the executive branch to take the legislative power is one of the problems, and is a problem that can be easily fixed using the judges.
Well, I was going to say,
In essence.
the other little thing that is gone wrong with this whole article
Yeah.
is they're trying to use government to fix government.
And that's never going to happen.
And you can't do that. The
No.
power belongs back to the people. That is
Right.
the only way government will ever be fixed is when the people take back their voice.
Yes.
Period. End of story. Case closed. And with
Bar none.
that, go to AmericanPrideRoasters.com. That is AmericanPrideRoasters.com for historically great coffee, guaranteed to make you swallow every single time you put it in your mouth.
Yes.
The world is going to hell, but at least you can guarantee you can have a great cup of coffee or tea or chocolate.
Or have some chocolate. That'd be good.
AmericanPrideRoasters.com. It's AmericanPrideRoasters.com.
And for everybody else out there, we're going to say goodbye, but for you defenders, we have a whole nother hour.
Make sure you go to the website, DOAEshow.com, click on the Defenders Only side. You'll be able to watch that. If you want to be part of that, sign up as a Defender. $5 a month or $50 per year. Get you a t-shirt and behind the scenes an extra hour every night. Guys, we'll see all of y'all tomorrow.
Bye.